bear with me, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time than 5 minutes. So, I'm going to be
nice.
I know. I'm going to be, oh shoot. I'm going to be talking about Africa, the continent. Yeah, the entire continent of Africa. Okay, so Africa consists of about 53 and 53 to 54 countries. And Erica Gilbert wrote a book about Africa. It said it's Africa in the world's culture. And she puts it that Africa is, the United States is 3 times, if you put the map of United States onto Africa, it will fit onto Africa 3 times with some remaining. So, which means, let's say China is here, this is America, this is Europe. They will all fit onto the continent and they will still have some leftovers. So Africa is not that small. I'm from Ghana. This is the map of Ghana. I come from the western part, which is the coastal area. That's where most of the slave trade went and where all the castles and everything are. Now, if you take Africa, we have, although it's being perceived as a country, because that's what people refer it to, we actually have varying climate. So if you like California weather, it's just that for you. If you want the cold, you want the ice climbing and everything, there's Mountain Kilimanjaro and all that. If you want to go, you want a Mediterranean weather, like you want to go to Italy and enjoy the grapes and all that, you want to go up here. So if you go to Africa, depending on what weather you want to go, you can choose any of these countries because we have varying climate, varying cultures and everything. Now, some of the challenges that faces the continent is, colonization. We all know with the slave trades and everything. Beginning when the Europeans went, they were mainly trading with us. They weren't really trying to get in or settle in because they weren't allowed to. But thanks to the Industrial Revolution and the guns, they were able to get into us, and then after many fights, there was colonization. Now, and there was also the myth that they came there and they brought Christianity and everything to us, which wasn't actually true because Christianity was already, existed already before they came. Now, other challenges too that we are facing now is the, we call it SAP, is like an adjustment program that the African countries, or let's say, yeah, African countries and the other Western countries or Western powers have with us. Now, we trade, we have a lot of resources and everything, natural resources that is being exported to elsewhere. But then we don't, the agreement between us is not very favorable to Africa. Like they pay us, we get a little money for the resources we provide basically to the rest of the world. And it hurts when it comes to loans. Like United States do have loans, we have loans, but unfortunately when we get the loans, or African countries get the loans, the sanctions that is put on because of the loan is not favorable and it doesn't generate enough money to support the country. And as I said, the commodities too that like coffee, timber, ivory, gold and stuff that we export, sometimes the price is determined in the Western world. So people are growing back home, but they don't get to determine how much it's going to cost. How much a ton of coffee needs to be sold by maybe someone from Ghana or Cameroon or whatnot, the price is being determined here. So before, let's say if you buy a ton of coffee, it can give you 1 tractor. Now if you want to buy a big tractor, it will cost you like 3 or 4 tons of coffee. So it means the price of coffee keeps going up because we have to take it to Brazil and other places for them to process it. But then the actual cost of it keeps going down. So that's another thing that is facing the continent. And then the monetary rate too. The rate, they also determine sometimes how much they can come to us and say you have to reduce your exchange rate because we are getting lows, because we want to do this, we want to do that. So we have no option but to do that. And we free our borders for things to come in. But then we are not able to bring our processed food. We only export the raw material, but not the processed food. So even if we have a competitive advantage in producing those items, we still cannot bring it in. We get cheap stuff being shipped to us, and then the raw materials are being exported. And when it comes to some of the contributions that Africa has made to the world, I mean, supply of natural resources. I mean, in industrial revolution, the rubbers and everything, the ties we needed for the cars and everything came from Africa because we didn't have, Western world didn't have the conducive climate or the know-how to produce such things. Food, languages, food like rice and everything was imported from Madagascar, and people from Senegal came to Europe to teach people how to cultivate rice and other things. The domestication of cows, like the cow's milk and everything, is something that was found in the Fulanese in Africa. That's the way of life, and it was also seen here. These are some of the dresses that Nordstrom is selling at the moment, and you can see that it has all African imprints on it. This would take like, no, actually, I will give this to the professor, and the professor will show that later for us. It's some of something. It's a dance that Beyonce incorporates in her musicals, Girls in the World. And I mean, for somehow, I applaud her for doing that, for at least acknowledging that she got the idea from somewhere, because that's one of the things that is also affecting the continent, the lack of people acknowledging what we have provided or what we have contributed to the world. This is, I wanted to talk a little bit about Ghana because I'm from Ghana, West Africa. And then maybe a few of you might be familiar with this game. It's called Mancala or something like that. Mancala. Okay. It was invented in Africa and it's called Awari. And Awari means marriage, long term. And there's a saying that if two people get to play together, they stay together for a long time. These are drums. I mean, it's called phantom from, and it's used to communicate. They are huge. I mean, huger than the picture portrays it, but then it tells you about everything. They can be playing the drum now and be telling us what is going on now. And then in those days, when during colonization, it's one of the things they used to communicate that the Europeans couldn't understand. So if they wanted to send a message from here to there, if they send someone, it's going to take a while for the person to get the message. But when they play this drum, it goes way beyond. And when you're listening, you can interpret and know what they are trying to say. There's also Anansi the Triska, the spider. I don't know if anyone knows about that. Spider-Man story. It was also invented in Ghana, but then it's also something that Africa contributed to the world. It's like storytelling is a way to advise people, a way to show people about consequences in life, and a way to let basically people know how to be responsible. Now, I guess the question now arises, if we've contributed so much to the world, why are we lagging behind? And it's the fact that we're not being acknowledged of what we've contributed to the world. Some of the, like even now, the trade agreements that we have doesn't favor us one bit. Also, our leaders, some of our leaders are selfish and do not input, do not do things that will encourage the individual countries to grow. And also the propaganda, I think, is the most thing that hurts us the most. Because if people want to go to France because it's beautiful, they have different artifacts, oh, Picasso, this, that. But then they fail to see that most of the art was generated in Africa. And when it comes to Africa, it's all about fighting, it's all about this. So you are discouraged to go there. And we all know that tourism increases money or generates money. So if we have all these antiques, but then there's no need for anyone to go and say, oh, we're going to see the site, or like how you would sell a Picasso for God knows how much amount of money. We have all those artifacts, but then it's like worthless. And the last thing I'll add is, like, if you watch an American Idol or something, they know, but then they fail to tell people that, you know, maybe we went to raise money or went to donate money to maybe South Africa. South Africa's climate is just the same as here. They didn't go to all the 54 countries in Africa to donate money. But then they'll go to South Africa or whatnot, sleep at all the 5-star hotels, and then go to the villages that 99.5% of most Africans do not know it exists. And then they will show it here because that's what sells. The everyday life, like what we do now, doesn't sell. You have to talk about the fight. Yes, there's fight going on in Sudan. It's just a conflict between ethnic groups, maybe in Nigeria. But it's just a dent of all the African countries. But then that's all they highlight. So there's the fear for anyone to even venture there. So yeah, that's the end of my presentation.
Nice job.